Hey there, welcome to Find Your Sun. I'm Cass.
And I'm Mare.
Join us as we find our sun through movement, nourishment, and well-being.
Awakened through the power of play. Let's dive in.
Welcome back, Sun Seekers, to another episode of the Sun Podcast. I'm Cass, and as always, I'm here with my amazing co-host, Mare. How are you doing today, Mare?
Oh, I feel like I'm in step this morning. Like everything is going really good. And I am so excited about today's episode. We're diving into something foundational to well-being, nourishment, but not just any nourishment. Today, we're talking about meals that calm the mind and body, along with some practical tips to simplify meal prep and bring mindfulness into the way that we eat. So, how are you feeling about this topic?
I love it, especially as it's been something I've been diving into a lot with my clients. And they often tell me how busy they are and don't have a ton of time to cook. And so I'm trying to solve that problem. And something that I like to try to remind them before we even start is that nourishment isn't just about feeding our bodies, but it's about creating rituals and routines that make us feel grounded, peaceful, and honestly cared for. And with the start of the year, I've been reflecting a lot on how to make meals more intentional and enjoyable, even with a busy schedule. So let's get into it.
Yeah, let's start first with the ingredients that naturally help calm the mind and body. These are foods that not only nourish us physically, but also create that sense of peace that we all crave. And so when I'm starting to think about these, I want to dive into what are some of the go-to calming ingredients in your routine.
Okay. So I think I love the magnesium-rich foods like sweet potatoes and leafy greens and bananas.
Those are good ones, aren't they?
Yes. And they're great for not only helping our muscles relax, but also supporting the nervous system. I'm also a big fan of magnesium L-threonate. This is a supplement. The brand that I use is called Life Extension. A study I came across by Zhang et al. Showed it can improve cognitive scores in older adults, which is incredible. And they do need to do a little bit more studies on the general population, but overall in the older adults, they saw a huge improvement. And personally, I have found that when I'm taking the supplements, I'm able to retain more while I'm studying, and it doesn't seem to take as much effort while I'm studying. And then adding that to my daily routine has really been a game changer for my focus and my mental clarity.
That's really amazing. I'm sure that's really helped a lot.
Yeah, I haven't.
Yeah, I don't think that I've had tried magnesium threonate.
Okay,
Not yet.
I'm
probably getting in.
Yeah, it's been studied a little bit, like I said, in those older adults, but I found that it's really helped. So maybe something to try.
I think I'd love trying it.
Yeah.
I love anything that helps me like focus in and have a little bit more clarity, I think is really important. Yeah. So for me, I really enjoy having bone broth because bone broth has become such a staple in my routine. It's not only soothing to sip on, but it's also packed with collagen and amino acids that support gut health, which as we know is directly connected to our mental well-being through the gut-brain axis. So this connection highlights how the health of our gut microbiome can influence mood, stress levels, and even cognitive function. I love drinking it before breaking my fast. Like I feel like that's like my favorite time to have bone broth is right before I'm breaking my fast on Mondays and Thursdays. And then I also like to just add it like if I'm making quinoa for the evening, I just add quinoa instead of water. I add bone broth instead of water for an extra nourishing twist.
Nice. And what kind of bone broth do you typically like to use? I know that there's different kinds. Do you like beef or chicken? Or
I like beef.
Beef bone broth?
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Okay.
I feel like it's just heartier, especially like after a fast, because you want something and mine usually has turmeric, or I'll add turmeric to it, or ginger. To add even more
flavor.
Yeah.
And okay. Okay. And you said you have it warm?
Yes. Oh yeah. Definitely warm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. In the morning?
No, it's usually in the like mid-afternoon.
So you break your fast with it?
Yeah.
Oh,
because it's really light on your digestive system.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're overwhelming your digestive system immediately, like off the bat, like you're eating Doritos or something.
Right.
You want to have this like ease into breaking your fast.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. And I know that some people, when they're doing like a really long fast, they'll have bone broth.
Oh yeah.
During the fast.
I think that calorically, I think it's only around.
It's pretty low in calories.
It's pretty low in calorie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not like and also it's very light on your digestive system because it's a liquid. And so it's easy for the body to absorb.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's a great idea to use then. Yeah. During your fast. Yeah.
And then I usually have like a protein shake after that too. Yeah. So like my really nutrient dense protein shake,
which are amazing,
has spinach and banana and dates, and it's really my favorite. And then protein and almond milk.
Yeah. It's delicious.
And peanut butter.
I also have this all the time, especially after I'm like a big lifting session or something. But you know what?
I also noticed that I get really cold because I do too. I put ice into my
I put ice into it too.
During the winter, oh my gosh, I'm just freezing after I'm
breaking
my fast with a protein shake. Oh my gosh, I'm so cold.
Yep.
Yeah.
Something else I've been using and leaning into is adaptogens and ashwagandha and matcha for a little bit of an energy boost that doesn't feel overstimulating. The matcha powder from Roots Nutrition is the absolute best. I feel like I have tried other matchas on the market, and this one is by far the best. It has MCT oil and healthy fats that really are going to support your brain health. And it's really become like a perfect drink for when I need a study break, and helps me dive right back in after I've, got my cup of matcha or my cup of, I also use like a Focus coffee, like it's only as half calf coffee blend. The brand is called Focus, but that's also something that I like to kind of like break up my studying, because like you need those little breaks,
and it's almost like a treat too, right? And you're doing something that's nourishing your brain and your body at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. So then you're like, okay, now I'm ready to go.
Yeah. And you're like patting yourself on the back while you're doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't feel like we didn't have all this information.
No,
really 10 years ago. Like, and I especially wasn't thinking about it in my 20s.
I wasn't either.
But now like I open up my cabinet where I keep all of my supplements, and I just feel like very locked in on this. Yeah. Like it really matters when I'm thinking about nourishing my body. Yeah. And, I value it.
And something else that I loved that you brought up was the gut-brain axis. It's so fascinating to think about how our gut health impacts our mood and our overall well-being. Did you know that 90% of our serotonin, the neurotransmitter that regulates our mood, is actually produced in the gut?
No, but you're teaching me.
Yeah.
Let's learn more. 90%?
That blew my mind.
Hold on. Say that one more time. Okay. So 90%
of serotonin. Which is a neurotransmitter that boosts
a very
mood.
Important one.
Yeah. And that 90% is produced in the gut.
Wow.
Yeah. 90% of serotonin.
Wow.
I know. Wow. I found that really interesting.
Okay. That is very interesting. And that is very good to know, because that's 90% is almost all of it is produced, like your feel good hormone
within your gut biome.
Wow. Okay. That's
so nourishing.
So this stuff is really important. And I'm sure we're all getting a little bit of this, or if you're not getting this in your feed, like it's so important.
Yeah.
How we're nourishing our bodies.
Definitely. And something that can boost that gut microbiome is fermented foods that have probiotics in them. So like yogurt and kimchi and sauerkraut is such an easy way to support that microbiome connection. Plus, I find that they're delicious, and it's incredible how much power we have to influence our mental health through these small everyday choices.
I really love how these ingredients aren't just nourishing our bodies, but they also feel like it's an act of self-care. And it's about more than just food. It's about how those food make us feel emotionally and mentally.
Definitely. And
I love it.
I totally agree. Now let's move into the fun part, recipes.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that. So do you have any go-to meals that feel like a warm hug for you?
Definitely. I love chili. It's nostalgic and grounding. And I love how you can pack it with fiber and protein to keep your blood sugar stable. It's also one of those meals that, like you said, feels like home and is the perfect cozy Sunday meal while watching football, which was something that was kind of a family ritual for me when I was growing up.
So it ties in all of that, the feel good memories that you have, and also watching football and
just like, you're getting your beans, you're getting, I put sweet potatoes in mine. You get your protein.
Sweet potatoes? I've never tried sweet potatoes and chili.
Yeah, you got to try it. It's good.
Ooh, you're going to have to give me the recipe for that.
It adds like just a little bit of sweetness.
Yeah.
You know?
I like that idea. I think I've heard my sister-in-law doing that. So that just sounds so amazing. And for me, it's a warm bowl of quinoa cooked with bone broth. I love this so much. And I'm probably going to talk about it a lot because it has so much more depth. And then I love to top it with barbecue chicken thighs. I think chicken thighs are like so much better than just chicken breasts. Yeah.
They have just a little bit more flavor.
Yeah. A little more flavor. And then some roasted veggies on top or potatoes. Actually, if I'm not doing quinoa, then I'll add the potatoes. I really love a good potato too. But it's simple and nourishing and calming all at the same time.
That sounds delicious. We're gonna have to share recipes.
Yeah, we're gonna have to cook after this.
That sounds amazing. And something sweet I've been making are these no-bake peanut butter protein balls with some drizzle of honey. The honey can bring some like natural calming properties. And these bites are so easy to throw together. My kids love to make them with me, and they're perfect for an afternoon pick-me-up, I think. Or just like little snack between meals. It's just like the perfect way to curb your appetite.
Oh yeah. To curb that sweet tooth, right?
And to curb the sweet tooth, yes.
And I think dark chocolate is also a very valuable, very valuable to add to your diet as well, because the cacao is also beneficial. So
I've definitely heard that.
So let's talk a little bit about meal prep. I know it can feel overwhelming, right? Like planning out what everyone is going to eat every single week, and then making it and preparing it and cleaning up after it. It's
meal
a lot.
Meal prep just sounds like, ugh.
Right? You know? So boring, but I know it can feel overwhelming, but it's such a helpful way to set yourself up for success, especially when life gets really busy. So, what are some ways that you approach meal prepping during the week?
Yeah. So for meal prepping for me, I like to keep it simple. I focus on 2 to 3 main recipes for the week and batch cook them so that I have plenty of leftovers. And sometimes I don't have time to batch cook. So I'll just maybe make sure that I just at least know what I'm going to cook for the week and have the ingredients. So like Sunday, I always make sure like I get the groceries that I need. And if I can, I'll make, I'll like pre-chop some veggies or I'll cook the rice beforehand. Yes. Or even a big pot of chili in the fridge makes it so much easier to throw meals together, I find.
Yeah, that's such great advice, I think, because I also like to prep versatile ingredients that can be used in multiple ways, like roasted veggies or potatoes, or go ahead and cook my quinoa up front because it makes such a big difference, like knowing that that's already in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
Or even like if you just have that extra rice and you want to throw together a fried rice.
Yeah.
So easy. And my kids are eating so much right now. It's
yeah.
I can't tell you how many times they come to me at like 9:30 and they're like, or 9.
Oh my God.
9:30 and they're like, hey, do you think you could order Chipotle for me? I'm like,
oh my God.
Chill out. Go eat something.
And that was after they had dinner already?
Yes. But there's something about these teenage years where I just feel like they're growing and they're bottomless pits.
Yeah. They are.
But it keeps things interesting without feeling repetitive, and labeling your containers with the day that you plan to use or the day that you plan to use them is also a simple trick that helps me stay organized. I know that like I received all of our groceries on Sunday and I immediately started like packaging them and like writing on them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Cause I did a huge bulk order from Costco just to make sure that I was prepped for the week.
Yep.
And
gotta feed those boys.
Yeah. If not, you get behind.
Yeah.
And you can't like, nothing is easy when you're doing it from behind. It's
not. You're right. Yeah. You're right.
So,
but labeling them. So you label them the day that you plan to make them, you said.
Just label it with the day that that you put it in the refrigerator, or put some of the extras that you have and store it in the freezer, because then you can pull it out and nothing's going to go bad then. So you can feel confident.
Yes.
Yeah. That nothing's going to go to waste, because food is very expensive right now.
Yes. And how long do you typically keep something in the refrigerator for? Is it like for 5 days?
I use Google all the time. So if I have something in the refrigerator that I know that I made like 2 days ago or something, then I'll ask Google, like, what's the shelf life of this? And it will give me like a detailed.
Oh, that's smart.
Right? It'll give me like a detailed layout of how long I should keep it in the refrigerator or how long it can sit out. So if I don't know, I just ask her. And
that's neat. That's a smart way to do it.
I cook with her all the time. She's so helpful.
And that's a great tip, to be able to use Google, or if you have Alexa, or you have Google Home, right?
I have Google. Yeah. I have Google Home. So I'm always using her as a timer or look up recipes. I have her look up recipes all the time. And I feel like every single time I cook quinoa, I always ask her, now, what's the ratio again? Even though I know the ratio is 2 to 1. But you just don't want to ever get it wrong.
No, yeah.
And especially like with rice, like I'm always like, okay, what's the ratio again? Because I want to make sure I get it right. So it's not a botched meal.
Yeah. Another tip is to dedicate just an hour or two on Sunday to get everything prepped. It doesn't have to take up your whole day, like we were saying, but even a little bit of prep can save you so much time and stress during the week. And like you said, Meredith, I get a lot of my meat from Costco. So I make sure that I have what I need, and I can take out what I need for the week out of the freezer on Sunday. And usually I'll prepare rice or potatoes as a side for the week, kind of like you were saying as well. Like, I just think like that's the best plan of action, because those things warm up and keep pretty easily. Yeah.
And if you guys have any tips that we might have missed, like we would love to hear like what makes your week so much easier when you're thinking about meal prepping for a family or even just for yourself. So, but let's shift into something a little bit, a topic that we don't really talk very much about, but let's shift into how we eat. I think that mindful eating is such a powerful way to connect with our meals and bring calm into our day. And I think that practicing mindful eating is a really, is something that can transform the way you feel about food.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I agree. And I always take a moment before eating to express gratitude for the food in front of me. I focus on eating slowly, really tasting each bite. So like if you're eating a grape, like tasting that crunch and like the gooiness inside, you know.
I love grapes.
Just, it's just, I love biting
Especially
into
with
a grape and
When
just noticing how that makes me feel,
I like that.
And then also putting away distractions like my phone or the TV does make such a difference, not only for trying to really embrace what I'm eating and be grateful for the food that I have, but also for connecting with my family, with my kids and with my husband.
Yeah, that's so important to me too. I think I might have shared before, but I really love this little card deck that we have sitting out on our table where it's like 500 questions. And so we'll just pull out a question and it sparks a new conversation every single time we sit down at the dinner table.
Yeah.
And turning that TV off is such a smart way to ensure that there are no distractions and that everyone's present and no phones. It's just this time to connect. And then I'm sure there are a lot of moms out there too that have their kids in sports. So you're probably like juggling the evenings pretty similarly to how I am. But, for me, like when it's just me, it's about creating this moment of calm while I eat. So if it's just me getting to sit down, and I get to have this mindful eating,
far and few between sometimes.
Then I like to just create this calm while I eat, and I'll sit down with my planner or sketch while I'm sipping on something warm, whether it's bone broth or my matcha latte. It turns the meal into something that feels more like a mini meditation.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. I do too. It's a really great part of
it's a good way to
mindfully eating.
Yeah. A good way to pause and be present, I think.
For sure. Yeah. I like those mini meditations. It turns the meal into a mini meditation.
And I think mindful eating also helps us tune into our body's signals. You have to listen, like, are you truly hungry? Or are we eating out of habit? I think that's something that's really hard for at least our generation to break because our parents always told us to clean our plates, and
clean plate club.
Yeah. And so turning on, like really listening to, okay, I'm full now is definitely hard. And I think the society isn't doing us much favors either when they're putting ingredients in our food that actually makes you want to eat more.
Yeah. I think I shared this too with you. When you think about the size of the snack that you eat, like let's say hypothetically, if you're eating a Dorito, I shared this with you once, but if you're eating a Dorito, you have to open your mouth how big to get the Dorito in.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very big. So I think that also tells you like that you might think that you're hungrier than you are. So you may eat more than you actually need.
Yeah. I think it's all designed.
And it's not nutrient dense either. No. But so just be mindful. Like if you do find yourself snacking on something that's like bigger
than like bite size.
Just be mindful that maybe I should just make it smaller. Maybe that I won't eat as much.
So you're just saying like there's like something like psychological about
definitely
it, that they purposefully did.
Yes, psychological that I think is connected to the act of opening your mouth up bigger in order to receive the food. And then it makes you think that you might need more than you actually need.
Well, I find it interesting, like even going to restaurants that have huge burgers. And I'm like, oh my God, how am I? Like sometimes I'll get food and I'll be like, how do I even eat this?
Yes. Or like, and the portion sizes on our plates are just like so big. And so when we take that moment to like really reflect, even when we're out or we're making our own plates, being mindful that, if we look at our fist, like that's the size of our stomach.
Yeah.
So just keeping that in mind. And I think that that's something that comes with a lot of practice and discipline and time. I don't think that like you learn this overnight. It's something that comes very slowly.
Oh, I mean, for me, I know a struggle that I've had is like emotional eating sometimes. Like if I I have found myself like reaching for something that makes like a food that makes me feel good. And sometimes it's a meat stick, but sometimes it's like a chocolate or, you know, and it's really not because I'm hungry. It's more because I want to feel good.
I do this too.
Yeah.
I do this too. It's okay. I think it's important that it's all about like listening to your body and what your body needs. And maybe you do need that, like those extra calories. Maybe you're in a deficit for some reason and your body's just like, I'm so hungry.
Yeah. And I think it's important not to like guilt yourself for when you do that, you know, it's just like, just being mindful of it, noticing it is something that can be really important. And then just being like, okay, that I did that. Next time, I might do it again. Yeah, I might do it again. That's great. Might not, you know?
So, you know, before we wrap things up, we want to leave you with a little challenge this week. Try incorporating one calming ingredient into your meals and practice mindful eating to see how it shifts your mood and energy levels. And also, I want to note that on our shop page on our website, we have listed all of these ingredients that all of these supplements that we've discussed today. So if you got lost in what is magnesium L-threonate, then feel free to go find it on our website under our shop page. It directly links to Amazon.
And we can link that in the show notes as well for you.
We want to make it easy for you.
Yes. And if you're meal prepping, keep it simple and fun. Nourishment isn't just about the food, it's about the experience. So make sure to have fun while you're doing it and let us know what you're trying on Instagram at Find Your Sun. We'd love to see your recipes and hear how you're embracing this practice.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Sun Seekers. Let's make this week one of nourishment, mindfulness, and self-care. We'll see you next time.
Until then, keep finding your light and nourishing your soul. See you soon. Just before you go, if you want to sprinkle some love our way without spending a dime, why not hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel? It's like giving us a hug through the internet. So please give that button a little tap and join our Sun family.
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. We hope you found the discussions enlightening and inspiring. Please note that the information provided in this podcast is for general informational purposes only. All opinions expressed here are solely our own and do not reflect the views of any sponsors or affiliate partners.
And before you apply any of the health strategies discussed on the podcast, we recommend consulting with a professional to ensure it is appropriate for your specific circumstances.
Remember, we're here to spark conversation and ideas, not substitute for any professional advice.